is every single moment is going to call for something different. And so, what are you being called to in this moment? And in order to know with clarity and awareness what you are being called to in this moment, you first have to be willing to be incredibly uncomfortable. Hello, everyone. My name is Ona, and this is Wealthy Weirdos, the podcast where we talk about how the weirdos, the outcasts, those who think differently and move differently through the world come into their wealthiest timeline doing what they love. All right, we're doing the podcast outside today, which I'm very excited about. If you are watching the visual version of this podcast, you can spot a little kitty cat in the background. That's my kitty. She's asleep. She just looks like a lump right now. She's very tired. She was actually sleeping in this chair, and I kicked her out. So she's a little upset. But sleeping nonetheless. Anyway, welcome. Okay, so I have been really contemplating lately this idea of work or, inaction versus action, hard work versus flow. And this is really key because most of the time I see conversations around this being like way too simplistic. It's like you are either, willing to grind, willing to do whatever it takes. This is your mission. Like you are an A player, you're obsessed, you're gonna like work and grind and make it happen, versus the school of thought of, you know, attraction and magnetism and, that being relaxed and chill and enjoying your life is more important, and that you can, in fact, just lean into that and lean into your natural gifts and your natural magnetism. And naturally, more people will find you, more aligned opportunities will find you, and basically don't have to work as hard. That you can kind of chill and relax. And honestly, both of these are really missing something. By the way, since I'm recording this outside, there might be some random pauses or me just noticing what's happening in the neighborhood. Um, but I just felt so compelled to do this outside, so here we are. But anyway, neither of those like really hits it because the point is not, are you working super hard and grinding, or are you more in your feminine flow, receptive energy? That's not actually the point. The point is, what is your orientation to the present moment? Meaning, what is your relationship to the present moment? What is your relationship to the action that's being taken? And only you could ever really know the radical honesty of that. Only you could ever really know what that truly is. And so let me kind of like break this down a little bit more. Let's say you are grinding and working and go, 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 but you're doing it from a place of avoiding how you actually feel. That there is this like emptiness or this loneliness, this hole you're trying to fill via your success. And the more you chase that success, the more you kind of run away from that wounding that's just obviously still going to follow you and still going to be a factor. So ultimately, it's not effective. And, there's no shame or no judgment, but like the relationship that you had to working very hard was built on a flimsy foundation of basically trying to get the deep need met within you, and the job and the work can never actually do that for you. So, without any judgment, it's just simply inadequate. It's not actually hard work. It's not actually efficient. it's running from something that if you were to just face, probably like way more would come flooding to you if you could just slow down and face that thing. However, let's say you have another person, and from the outside, it looks the exact same. They are working so hard, they are grinding, they are going for it, and yet they are in like a total peaceful bliss state, and it is just this labor of love. Like they truly love it. They're obsessed. They really want to be doing it. There's nothing else they want to be doing. And that's that. Like so, this is something I certainly aspire to. That something can just be a total and complete labor of love. I talk about that a lot. And as I've been contemplating that more, it made me think of Mickey Singer. Michael Singer, he's a spiritual teacher and he's here in Gainesville or just outside of Gainesville. Um, so that's where I live. So sometimes I will go to his talks. And they're very similar. He kind of has this message um of waking up, but he does it in this very like surrendered way. So he has a book called The Surrender Experiment. And it's a really interesting book because he ends up making, I think like $100 million. Like, I don't know, maybe tens of millions. He ends up making a lot of money, because he was one of the first people to put out medical computer software. But to read the book, it doesn't seem like he tried. And yet, of course, he's working extraordinarily hard, but not to achieve a certain milestone. It's just that he found this he like discovered software and computers, in the 80s and became obsessed. It was just this like labor of love. Like he just had to do it. He wanted to, if he's going to do it, he's going to do it well. He's very alive. He's very in love with it. And I'll be honest, like I think for me and a lot of people out there, it can almost be difficult to believe that that's true. Like it can be hard to read that and say like, was it really though? Like he must have wanted to make money. He must have really wanted to make money. And then once you get down that road, it's like, well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with wanting money. Like why are we villainizing that? But then so it's really not about the money. Like what we're then saying is we don't believe that somebody could be focused and ambitious without trying to heal a core wound within them. Like that's really what we're getting at because it's not the money that's the problem. You can want money and it's not a big deal. Or you could want money and it's a really freaking big deal because you don't feel safe without it. And our society breeds a lot of that because it's set up. We literally have a society that's set up to make you fear that because you might lose your house or lose food or whatever. So it's like it feeds that. However, when you approach money from that place of like, well, I need it because I'm not safe without it, or maybe from a more validation place, like, well, I need more money because then I will be, more well respected, or, I'll be like people call it greed, but really at the end of the day, like it's just people trying to get their needs met, like trying to feel worthy, like trying to feel like they matter, trying to feel like they belong. Like they want to feel like they're the king of the world because they are lacking on some level this bliss, like this idea that they're okay right where they are. And that's so common, and so many of us are living our lives that way, even if we're not, chasing money specifically. A lot of us are living our lives that way. So to read from Mickey Mickey Singer's perspective, to read that, it almost seems unbelievable. Not because we're so jaded to think that everybody's just like super greedy, but that it's unfamiliar that you would have that level of devotion and that level of ambition without a sense of lack, without a sense of I'm not okay on some level, and maybe this will prove something or get me somewhere or do something for me that I don't currently have. And at the same time, I believe in it. It's like I read that and part of me is like, that's baloney. Like he knew what he was doing. He was chasing after it. He wanted the success. And then another part of me is like, I don't know, man. Like he to meet him in person and to be in his vibration, like I think he just really loved it. Like I think he's, probably kind of autistic, as are many of us, and had a special interest and really poured himself into it. And you could say that about some of the most successful people out there, that they're not actually interested, because also you can see that these people live very frugally. Like Mickey Singer doesn't like, you know, really use his wealth. He just kind of like wears the same clothes and, does free meditations and talks at his property. Like I don't I don't know, like is it real? Is it real? And I think the answer is yes. Like I think we really see this, but it's service based in the sense that you have this devotion to do really, really, really well at something. Like you have this devotion to do really, really well at what you're building. And, from that place, you're being of service because you're solving a problem for the wider public. You're solving a problem for other people. But ultimately, it's not even about being a savior or being a martyr. It's that they just love it. He just loves it. He just loved software. Like you look at Mr. Beast, and I don't know about today, but you look at those early days, and he was just a kid who just beyond all explanation just loved making YouTube videos. Like just pretty genuinely. I think that was just an obsession of his. Like I'm gonna get really, 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 really good at this thing. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And it's like once you're there and that's in front of you and you're doing it, yeah, you might work really, 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 really hard, but you love it. You love it. And it's this service to humanity because I mean, maybe not Mr. Beast. I don't know. Well, yeah, he does a lot of service to humanity. But Mr. Beast is also tangled with the beast of an attention economy. So, um, it's also a little bit like he's not setting out to make the very best videos. He's setting out to make the videos that have the most retention, which is a whole different game. Um, but anyway, then we're just getting into the ins and outs of like what pursuits are more worthwhile or more healthy or more good. And it's like that's really just a judgment or a personal preference. Like ultimately what I'm getting at is your orientation to hard work or just like chilling is the real thing to consider, not whether or not you are going to grind versus rest and chill and magnetize. Because also, if we look on the flip side of it, if you're more in this like resting, chilling, magnetic state with your work, that your orientation to that, your relationship to that can be drastically different. So one person might be doing that and it is really freaking difficult for them. Like they are having to face some demons within themselves of self-worth. Like they are having to really feel and be where they are, and it is incredibly difficult. And they are just like taking only the actions that matter the most. They're staying the course. They know what works. They're not going to like busy themselves with work that doesn't need to get done. Like they're not going to create busy work for themselves. And that's actually quite difficult for them. Maybe they normally do overwork and they're actually leaning back. And from that place of leaning back, despite its great difficulty, it's very rewarding and brings in a lot of aligned leads because they're finally like trusting themselves and trusting their voice and trusting the work that they put out there rather than scrambling and overthinking and shifting gears and things like that. However, you could also have somebody on that side of things who it might look the same from the outside, but really they're just avoiding. Really, they're calling it feminine energy or magnetism, and they have this ideal of just attracting the right business and the right opportunities, but they're secretly or maybe even subconsciously avoiding this like big needle moving task that needs to happen. But if they were to go and do that, it would stir up all kinds of really tough feelings and really tough emotions. And so their defense mechanism is to just not do that. And they're avoiding. But also you could literally be on the opposite end of the spectrum and be overworking like crazy and working all the time, and that person could also be avoiding. That person could be working super hard so that they don't have to sit with the feeling. So really the question isn't, do I work in this very like structured, go for it, like work freaking hard kind of way, or do I like lean back and trust and magnetize? It's like every single moment is going to call for something different. That's the real truth of it, is every single moment is going to call for something different. And so, what are you being called to in this moment? And in order to know with clarity and awareness what you are being called to in this moment, you first have to be willing to be incredibly uncomfortable. Because this gets into identity, into like who you're being in any given moment. And this is also like central and key to manifestation and key to creating a really incredible business is who you're being in any given moment, right? But it's not just like, oh, I'm my wealthy identity. It's more than that. It's like, are you mature? Are you able to handle discomfort? Are you radically honest with yourself? Because what'll happen is when your system wants to avoid something, it can for a really long time. And you can even hire mentors that reinforce what you're trying to avoid. So let's say you like to overwork to avoid something within you, you can hire a mentor that loves to bully you into overworking, and you can continue to like live out that story, and you can grind and you can go crazy and you can do all of that and continue to avoid the actual move that needs to happen inside of yourself. And same on the other end of the spectrum. You could be avoiding something and you can hire a mentor or like join some like fluffy self-guided course that actually could be really genius if you were in a different orientation. But because you're in avoidance and you're going to it from that angle, now all of this like yielding energy and just being in the right energy becomes your procrastination, becomes your another extension of your avoidance. Like basically, you can't escape you. You can't escape your role, like your piece of the puzzle. Who are you being in any given moment in relationship to the actions that you're taking? And it's not about always getting it right. Okay. It's not like, oh, we're perfect and we're never avoiding anything and we're just like so aware and we know all our shadows and we're just killing it all the time. Like, that's not the point. Like, you're not here to get an A plus grade. That's, for all of us like recovering good girls who need to get good grades. That's like actually not the goal. But it's to be aware. It's to be aware. And ultimately, because, you have faith that underneath all of this, there is in fact a blueprint for you that in your truest form and in your truest expression, that you get to be who you are, be your essence in the world, and do what you love, like offer your gifts and offer your passions and do what you actually love, and it will contribute to society, you know? And that's something you kind of have to believe in. I mean, I think that that's like a good, just believing in that is a really good way to skip ahead of like not needing proof in that. But I don't know. I mean, we can't force ourselves to believe things, right? But like, if you can have faith that your system is not wrong, your system is not bad, it's not wrong, it's not broken, it's not fucked up. Like, you, sure, maybe you have trauma, maybe you have different things, wherever you are on your path, it's having faith that exactly who you are is not a mistake. You are helpful to others. You do contribute to society through being you, telling your stories, offering your skills. Like, this is valuable, and you get to be abundant in that. You don't have to suffer and martyr yourself. It's okay to get paid. Like, you get to actually live a good life and be supported in the process of doing what you're here to do and being in your brilliance, in your essence, in your gifts, and giving back to the world. So that is something that you want to have faith in, because it's not always going to feel like you're going to be like, am I doing it right? Am I doing enough? Am I doing too much? Am I doing it wrong? Am I blah 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 blah, on and on it goes, right? It's it's difficult though, because it's so ingrained in us that we should be different than we are, that we need to work differently than we work, or that the way we think isn't good enough or correct enough. Um, and this shows up in little ways too. Like, I just started with a client recently, and I was reading her copy for her business. And this is a heart-led business. Like, this is cool stuff that she's doing. She cares about it. She's passionate. And yet I'm reading the posts that she wrote and the description that she wrote, and it is like it's very corporate-y, it's very like AI, it sounds like ChatGPT, it's really kind of convoluted, it's like kind of saying nothing, it's like it's not really taking a stance, it's not really um it's definitely not going to piss anybody off, like it's just kind of eh. And I'm like, what's going on here? And at first I didn't know what to do. I'm like, well, let's get you off of Chat GPT. Like, let's find your voice. I was worried for a second. I was like, where is this gonna go? But then when I was on a call with her, I saw her light up. I saw her voice change and I saw her light up. She started talking about this totally separate article that she had written for fun, like something she just wanted to write. And I was like, ooh, 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 send me that. I need to read it. And so I read this, and it's brilliant. Like, it's great. She's a great writer. Her voice is there. It's clearly her voice. It feels personal. It feels grounded. It feels like it just feels good. I'm like, "Oh, this is you." Thank God. I was like, "Oh, good. She's in there. She can write." And I was like, "Look, this is what we need to see in the copy that you write for your future corporate clients. Just because your clients are in corporate doesn't mean they want you to be something you're not. Like, definitely. When it comes to sales, when it comes to like coming in and you've got this service to sell, they need to know you. They don't want more garbage. Like, if they're hiring somebody just to tick a box because they have the budget and they need to spend a certain amount of money on something, then they can hire somebody that's in the AI mush glob of nothingness, right? But that's not her. She's not the person that you hire to check a box. She's got something really unique. She's got a really unique approach to what she does for teams. She has a really like beautiful story behind it. Like, this is not checking a box. So we're gonna need you. We don't like say, oh, let me put me aside. That's not really good enough. Let me go over here and try to appease this world and do what I think this these people are asking of me. And then once they hire me, of course they get all the magic and they see how great I am. No, they need to see how great you are right now. They need to see it right now, right? But this is like fundamentally connected to, not working in the way that we want to work too. It's like it's this pervasive idea, like really woven into the collective consciousness that something about us individually is like off. Like this, like not what is needed, right? And so we end up thinking we have to contort ourselves in some way. And ultimately, it just turns into kind of this avoidance, right? Because also it's very vulnerable. Like if you take that example of her being who she really is in front of these like future potential corporate clients, some people aren't going to like it. Some people are going to think that what she's doing is stupid or wrong. Like there's going to be criticism. Like anytime you actually are you shining and saying, I'm taking a stand for this thing, people aren't going to like it. There's going to be people who don't like it. There's going to be people who are like, oh God, I would never hire her. And not only that, I'm going to tell everybody not to hire her. Like that can happen. Actually, the fact that that hasn't happened to me more often is a really good indicator that I'm not fully in my voice yet. Like you should take that as a positive indicator that you're on the right track of like, oh, good, some people are getting pissed off. I must actually be saying something. And it's not that you have to purposefully piss people off. It'll just happen because you're being you. Like it'll happen on its own. And it should. It should happen. Go for that. And so it's it's this process though of like because you don't just automatically like receive that feedback and then you're like, okay, yes, done, and now here's my voice. Like it could be a bit more of a process than that because you're just not accustomed to it. Like your software, your own computer software programming isn't functioning in that way. And so you usually have to face something uncomfortable. You have to face something uncomfortable. And so, like, let's just take this example and apply it to what we were talking about earlier. It's like, okay, she could go and write 10 more pieces of content and she could draft and redraft them. And the whole time she could be in this state of being where she's thinking, are these corporate clients going to like it? Is this what they're going to approve of? Is this what they're going to is this what's gonna get them to hire me? Like, will they like me? If she's like in that mode, then she's trying to get something because some part of her is in a state of lag. And that's gonna feel like pushing a rock up a hill. That's gonna feel like hard work and not in the good way. But let's say she takes a different route and she then instead feels what's really there and is like, oh my God, okay, this is really uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable for me to actually like be myself in this environment in front of these potential clients. Let me sit with that discomfort. Let me hold space for that discomfort. Let me give that discomfort what it needs on a deep level. And let me proceed despite the fear, despite the discomfort, and actually put my voice into this. And then let's say instead of 10 pieces of content, she just writes one. She just writes one piece of very impactful content. And maybe she even sends it to somebody that she knows is a good fit or initiates a conversation with them. Whoa, that just moved the needle way more. Was it less work? I don't know. It was harder, but it was also easier, and it was also less work in a way. But now she has this different relationship. She has a different orientation to it, where she's, instead of like performing for these clients, she's thinking, on a higher level, how can I actually deeply serve them, knowing that who I am inherently and the gifts that I bring to the table are really, really great. Like they are the shit. They are worthy. And I know I've got something to offer. So, how can I not worry at all about the people who are never going to hire me and knowing fully and completely that there is, in fact, somebody out there who definitely needs this work because I know this work is good and I know this person is out there. So, how can I just assume that that person is in front of me and speak straight to them until I find that person? And so that way, when that person finds me, when that right fit finds me, they feel it. They know because I'm going all out. Because I'm really saying it. I'm really using my voice. I'm really putting it out there. Do you see the difference? It's not that it's not still about the client. Like they are still important. This is actually a higher level of service though, because there's a difference between service that is like people pleasing versus transformative service, like service that actually changes people's lives. Like think about friendships, like think about an acquaintance that you just met and you're, being cordial at the party and, you know, you want to be polite, so you tell them that you really liked their book and they did a great job, even though you feel like it was the worst book you've ever read your entire life. Okay, now let's say that that person is not an acquaintance, they're your friend, and they're writing this book, and you know them, and you know something more could come forward within it that they're holding back on, and you fucking tell them. Like that, I don't know why I used a book as an example. I'm like, that is so high stakes. You could apply this to smaller things too, right? You could apply this to like little things in someone's life. But the point being, you know, you're being a good friend, you're being of service. You're saying like, "Hey, I know you and I know what you want to put out there and like this piece is missing. Like this is missing from your voice. Like let's talk about it." And she might be really pissed and she might hate you, but like ultimately you're honest and you're her friend and you're doing it with love and it's like a very different thing than like being at a party and saying, "Oh, I hated your book," or "Oh, I loved your book," right? So, serving your clients, to kind of connect this back to clients, serving your clients is not about people pleasing. You're not their waitress. It's not, "Oh, was I a minute late on getting you your Coca-Cola?" Like, that's not your job. As an, no matter what you do, if you are actually like selling something big, like selling something that changes people's lives, whether it be coaching, art, healing, anything service based, or even product, but even like selling art, right? Like anything that's actually heart led and matters and is going to change their lives, you are not here to people please. Doesn't mean it's not about the client. It's still about the client, but it's about the client in the sense that you know that your inherent medicine and the medicine you've, built, the skills you've built, everything that you've got going on, you know it's valuable. You know it. You know that for the right fit, it is valuable. So your job is to just unapologetically communicate that so that the person that it is for sees you and says, "Oh, yes, I'm going to hire you now." And it doesn't matter that 10 other people got pissed off or think it's stupid. You're not here to people please them. You're here to serve. You're here to actually genuinely serve this person that it's for. And that's harder. That's harder and easier at the same time. It's harder because you actually have to like face your shit and say the damn thing and like it's very confronting. And it's easier in the sense that you can land a client really fucking quickly. And so things get to be easy, your life gets to be easy, but only because you're so very okay with pain and discomfort. And that's just like true across the board in business and outside of business. Like your relationship to pain and discomfort determines your quality of life. If that is something you're always trying to avoid, then that becomes your compass. Comfort seeking and pain avoidance becomes your compass, and it leads to an incredibly dissatisfying life. It's not more joyous, it's not more free. You're trapped. But if you fully embrace the discomfort and the pain, it's harder in the sense that you're fully embracing discomfort and pain, but it's easier in the sense that things are actually going to move now, seemingly effortlessly a lot of the times, in the direction that you want them to go. Like you're actually gonna just snowball into a reality that you really love. So again, it's not about do I grind or do I chill? It's what is my relationship to that in this moment? Is this coming from love? Is this coming from, oh my gosh, like this is what's right in front of me, and I'm gonna do my very best. I'm gonna serve. I'm gonna like pour myself into it. I'm gonna like love this thing. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do my very best. And that doesn't mean you don't get to be messy along the way. That's another trap. Like, look at this. I love doing this podcast, but I get more out of doing it than I get out of perfecting it. So for me, the journey of this podcast eventually having probably a studio and better lighting and better sound, and eventually having like a better intro, and eventually having more marketing around it. Like I am that all of that is gonna happen, but I'm not letting that slow me down. I know I'm here to just use my voice and to speak. So I'm honing that skill. I'm not gonna like stop and try to perfect it behind the scenes because I care about it. I'm gonna care about it live in action. I'm gonna care about it while I move. So I'm okay with releasing, for me personally, like, I guess it depends on what you do. Like, if what you do is very like aesthetic based, maybe it's different. But I would say more often than not, like, you just want to be in action. For me, it's more important that this message right now get out there than me have like all the right equipment already. I don't need that. I don't need it to be this like super professional equipment or to have this whole marketing plan around it. It's like I need to get this message out there and I'm not going to stop. So there will be more. There will be more podcast episodes. They will reach more and more audiences as I grow. And also, it's still important right here, right now, for me to be doing this. And that's you could say like, oh, I'm not working hard enough in the sense that like I could be making it really beautiful and really perfect, and I could have more of a plan around it. But then at the same time, it's like, well, what's my orientation to that? Because actually, I think it's more confronting and more of what needs to happen to just like trial and error and fall on my face and get my message out there and like, yes, also do the hard work of making it more polished, right? So again, it's always a balance. And the thing is, only you can know. It's always changing. There's no set rules. It's always very present moment. It's always completely, uh, you know, unique to you. So only you can really know. Only you can really have the radical honesty of what is this present moment calling for? Like, what am I being called to in this exact present moment? And that's where all the goodies are. That's where all the magic is, okay? And again, it comes down to who you're being. Are you somebody who's okay with discomfort, right? Like, as long as that's not driving the ship, like, take a step back and think, okay, what has its hands on the wheel right now? Like, who is driving this boat? Who is steering the ship? And if the thing steering the ship is this like entity of just constantly seeking comfort and avoiding discomfort, then your compass is all out of whack. I can guarantee you that much because you're just going to get thrown around by the stormy seas. Like, I got to avoid this and I got to do this and there's no avoiding it. So you're just getting thrown around and you're not really on any kind of course. So you got to think about, okay, well, who's at the wheel? And whoever's steering the ship is steering the ship because they are full of love, because they want to serve, because they're alive, right? And, you know, maybe sometimes it's just about feeling good. Maybe sometimes it's just about having fun. It's not that it always needs to be so serious or that it always needs to be this like huge mission, but also that, yeah, you do care about other people, that this work does matter to you, that it's not just like, oh, let me make sure I'm okay, right? And that means braving the storm. That means you're going to have, your hands on the steering wheel and you're You're right on course and you're going to the island that you're wanting to go to, but there is a storm and you got to brave it. You got to brave the storm. You got to go through it. And that's part of it. And you didn't do anything wrong because there's a storm. Like life has storms. It's part of what makes us human. It's part of what allows us to grow. Like grief is also what allows us to feel love. Like the storm is part of it. The storm is part of it. So you've got to really accept that and accept that pain and accept that discomfort. And only then can you have any amount of clarity about your relationship to the work that you're doing. And nothing is more important than that. What is your relationship to the way that you work? All right. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.